It's 2022, and there's so many twos in there that I'm going to do two interviews in a day. I've had a great day already. Holy cow, I'm getting ready tomorrow to leave on vacation. So I'm actually very excited. It's been a great year. Excited to take some downtime and most importantly, spend some time with family, right? Important and high prioritized family time. My son and his new wife are going to join us in San Francisco. That's where we're headed in just a few days. So I hope each of you have something to be happy about this year. If not, I hope that you learned from something this year. What I learned too is that we got to give a couple shout outs to some amazing people. Sabrina Tika, Dorita Hatchett, and all the shout out to all the people into the virtual event on virtual events. Because that's how I got to know this person. She has her own company and she's working on her own virtual summit. Let's find out more about her. Let's welcome to the stage, Andrea Martinez. Look, I'm going to get it right.
You did.
No,
Thank you so much, John, for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, let me just check. Wait, where are you calling in from?
I'm in El Salvador in Central America.
That's fantastic. Now, wait, how do you say hello in El Salvadorian? I'm sure it's akin to Spanish, right?
It's just Spanish. Well, every Latino country has their own language, but it's just hola.
Hola. Okay, great. Well, yeah. Good. Hola to you. Thank you so much. Again, I hope you enjoyed those shout outs. We really have gotten a chance to meet some amazing people in the virtual world through something called the virtual event on virtual events. So we're giving our Blue and Berry shout out and Chuck and all these other people. That's right. We can do some dance. We got some signs for them, right? We love these people.
Yeah, we do.
No, see, look, yeah, see, she's got one too. I love the hand-drawn sign, but it was for the last. Yeah, fired up the rocket. You know what I thought was really cool this year, because I did attend live this year, is that you could go to their website, click on the rocket, and the rocket would actually fly behind them on their video wall.
I love that. That was one of my favorite things too.
I did finally master, though. I can actually put my chat in a video window. So I did that on a program yesterday, and it kind of gives the same effect. So when the audience is chatting, you could actually see the reply here, like in my video. So for my friends who don't know you, now, why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you tell people who you are and what you do? Because holy cow, you do a lot.
Let me summarize it. So I already said I'm from El Salvador, and what I do is I'm an event planner, and I specialize on producing virtual events and luxury retreats here in El Salvador. That's like the gist of it. And I started working in events since 2009. I used to be the party girl, and I thought that was the most fun job ever. Now I get to make the events. And then I quickly realized that social events are not my game. And then I just, landed in digital marketing, and I love marketing. I fell in love with marketing. And I founded Irresistible Marketing Lab under the idea and the mission to help you create irresistible experiences, because online, it's just a tool. But what we're dealing with is humans. We're dealing with humans that are that have feelings, that have opinions, that have hearts, have souls, and we need to learn how to connect with them. And I went on a research binge on joining a lot of events, right? Because I was looking at everybody in the in-person industry like go crazy. So I was like, doing some research, and I found that there's a lot of boring events. And that's one of the missions that I have, to forget about boring events and really bad customer service. And I'm obsessed with customer service, because the customer journey. And I've seen also a lot of, a lot of hosts not think about these things and accidentally give a bad experience to their speakers. Things like that, right? Like side effects of not having good customer service, communication. So that's how I founded Irresistible Marketing Lab. And I use all the technology as well as available, like you do. And one of my things that I'm super obsessed lately is setting up events in chatbots. That's my new thing right now.
Oh, chatbots, right? Chatbot. Oh, yeah, you are. I have not integrated a chatbot into my event. So I'd be curious, what's your first thought? Like, where is the value pieces, or what do you think if you're going to put a chatbot into an event? Where do you put it?
Okay, so email is not reliable. Let's just say it like it is.
It's true. I've had this problem today. I was trying to get a link from somebody today, and I'm like, I sent it, and I go, I didn't receive it. Yeah, so go ahead.
Email is not reliable. I joined the summit that right now it's running, and I've been watching the sessions because I'm smart and I know that what they call the slugs, and I've just been changing the days, but I haven't gotten another email since the welcome email.
And they've been sending something, right? They're
they have supposedly, right? They think they have. So this is the problem. Okay. That's why we need to insert other types of communications that are automated for us. So we don't have more work. We don't want more. I don't want to give my colleagues, guys, I don't want to give you more work. Are you kidding? Hell no. I want to help you do less work. I see you not sleeping the week before the event. Like, stop it. Madness. So I was like, okay, I already have the ManyChat partnership as an agency that I started using it because I'm a solopreneur and I needed an assistant, and I thought this was the cheapest way to do it. And I would insert it everywhere, John. Like from the beginning of the conversation to the promotion, starting to get to know your audience, giving them already resources, creating the experience. You know that the event starts way before the event.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, when you want to create an experience, to me, the experience starts the moment you learn about the program, but most importantly, the experience starts when you sign up. And some people forget about that. They think the experience starts like when you register. No, or when the first speaker starts. No, way back here.
Exactly.
If I was to create a chatbot, like, what's your favorite chatbot resource right now?
Right now, I'm using ManyChat, and what I do is I set up the conversation so that people can register to daily notifications.
Okay.
So when something is going on, we can send them a message every day after the 24 hours are done if they register. So ManyChat has it's super, super. Yes, that's ManyChat. It's super user friendly. I only recommend tools that are user friendly and reasonable priced. I will never make you buy a software that you don't need.
That you can afford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So using ManyChat and setting up people to register to these notifications, and then creating funnels. It's just like email funnels, but with chat. And instead of preaching, we have conversations, because in email we kind of tend to preach. We like send them all the information and we like vomit information. But it's like word vomit in email. Like the emails are this long and all I want is the freaking link. You feel me? So I just want the link. So chat changes that, and we can get them to register from the moment they buy the ticket and start asking them questions. We can start already crushing objections. We can create a game. I know you love games. I mean, right? We can start having fun before the event. So when the event comes, the community is already bonded.
Yeah.
You know the power of that, right? Like,
have you ever heard of GameCon yet? GameCon. So
it rings a bell.
It's a gaming conference that's hosted at Training Magazine's conference. Next conference will be February 2023, actually in Orlando. And so Monica Cornetti heads it up, but I've helped them out over the years. And I don't know. I have to think about if I heard somebody talk. I bet most of the people might know about it, but I have not yet used this. So I'm going to go take a look at this and see if I'm going to put it in my next conference. I'm really interested in your binge, right? So, like we binge watch shows now. You're saying you went on a research binge, which is, I think you attended like lots of other people's events, and I'm probably mostly virtual. I just love to hear the best and the worst, if you don't mind. Again, on the worst, you don't have to.
Share?
Yeah. In the worst, you don't have to name any names. You can.
No. No. We here talk about the sin, not the sinner. Don't worry about it.
Oh, there we go. Nice. I like that. I'm
No
gonna
names, no names. So the best. Let's start with the positive.
Okay.
I loved that people did not say, no, I'm not just gonna do the event. They tried. So the energy of just trying.
Yeah.
A lot of them decided to postpone it and they never went virtual because they were too scared of technology. So that's the first thing I loved. A lot of people actually taking the leap. Now, in the best, one of the things you mentioned with the emojis that we could send Barry from our computers and like they would show on the screen. Honestly, that's one of my favorite things. The other is like when they created spaces, not just them, but in other events for breakout rooms that had a purpose. Not just a breakout rooms to chit chat. Ain't nobody got time for that. We're all busy. We're all busy. I love chit chat. But there's a time and a place. If I'm in an event, if it's not intentional and nobody goes to the breakout rooms as an attendee. Okay, so I've gone to breakout rooms and nobody knows what the heck we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a big one too, which is like, it is. You're too, like, even if they said it clearly, you were too distracted, then everybody gets in the room and they're like, what are we supposed to do? Exactly.
So that's why you have to give them, I go into solution mode. I'm sorry. That's one of my things.
That's what I gotta ask, Anna. You know, one of the things is like, isn't Salvadorian culture, like at least like an Asian culture, I know sometimes like before you get into the business, you got to spend some time just talking, right, and slow down a little bit. I thought also Salvadorian culture was a little bit like this, but Anna, I love you as an entrepreneur because you're one of these people. You're like, fix it now, right?
Fix it now. I'm an event planner to my core. It's the problem solving industry.
Oh yeah, and you want to fix everybody's event. You want to fix everybody's event, not just yours. And so, like over the years, I've had to slow down, right, and just say, "Oh, it's
me too." Yeah, like you have to turn that off. As an attendee, I have to turn it off so I can enjoy the event. When do I turn it off? When the subject matter is not that important for me. Yep. But I'm there to hang out with friends, or they're my business besties, or I'm just like in a like maybe social style events, like networking events.
But I actually, you know, if I tune out of the event, what I will do is start noting the things that I love and hate, right? And just for me, right? Because in the end, a bad presentation can really be helpful because I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna do that. All right. Oh, like, but wait a minute, this person did do that. I did like that. I'm gonna borrow that or think about that. So okay, so you told us the best, which was very kind of you. Let's see if we could hear some of the worst.
Okay, but before that, I have one more thing for the best.
Okay, good.
When they have good entertainment and good MCs. I love that.
I'm a big fan of
entertainment and good MCs because the moment I start grabbing this, you're losing me.
That's right.
And you can't lose me.
I'm one screen away from losing me. Right? Which is this over here right now.
Yeah, I have another here too. We all have more.
Yeah, we all have more. We have something to do. And so if you don't draw me in.
Yeah, exactly. And that takes me to the worst.
Okay, go.
Boring ass events that don't include any games, any network, any socialization between the attendees, events that they don't require the camera and you can like come, like people are like half there, half not there, like the participation, the vibe. Okay, so energy travels. For those who don't know this, in virtual, I can feel you miles away.
Yes.
And the vibe of the room, you still have to create it virtually as you do in person. In person, it's easier because I can transform a cubicle room into anything. We can transform it. We could make it a castle. We can make it a whatever. Like, but I can't do that in virtual unless you're playing full out. So that takes me to horrible event softwares that are one-sided. Mm-hmm. That's the worst. A glorified webinar. I'm not here to take a lecture. I'm not in college anymore for a reason. I'm done with that, dude. Like,
I don't, what I can encourage you to, like, I really want you to think about this year in 2023 to write a book of anaisms. Right? The book of anaisms like this. Look, like I went to college. If I wanted a lecture, I'll go back, but that's not here.
that's not here. We don't do lectures. That's boring.
Boring ass lectures. Specifically.
Boring. Like, even like, so you mentioned our colleagues, right? Dorita and Sabrina.
Yeah.
And you and I, we've help them produce events because we help each other in the industry.
Yeah.
And like doctors events, right? We did a doctor event with Sabrina, and gosh, they were sitting down and reading the slides. Like, I was like, doctor, you have a little bit more flair on you. Don't do that to yourself. Like, please.
So have you ever heard of PowerPoint karaoke? Do you know what PowerPoint karaoke is?
I think I know what it is. Yes. I can start singing.
PowerPoint karaoke is where you present a PowerPoint deck that you've never seen before. And the reason why it's funny, because one of them, hold on, I'm trying to see if I can actually find it, is about presenting on PowerPoint. And I had somebody read the slide about that says, don't read the slide. And they said, oh, and tip number 1 is don't read the slide. And it was actually written on the slide. It was the best. It was worst presentations ever. I'll see if I'll bring it up in just a second.
Yeah, so those are like the worst things. Like they get tied with the best things, John. If they really do it well, you're gonna get praised.
Yeah.
And then the other worst, the last one, while you find that the worst, the PowerPoint thing, is you know how things are going to go wrong, and with technology we cannot trust it.
Yes.
People freak out, and there has to be like a piece of a person that inspires peace in the team and helps the customer service just deal and tell people the truth. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
That's we're gonna communicate. And this brings me back to the chatbot. You can use chatbots to let people know, hey, this and this happened. We're gonna come back. Or you can tell them like before the event starts, right? Anything happens, send us a message on Messenger.
Exactly. Yeah. Messenger is really like all the short form of the chat. I have really prioritized. You know, a lot of people signed off of Facebook Messenger. I'm like, you missed out. Like that's the one place where I can call people. It actually freaks a lot of people out, but they'll answer it because they don't know where it's coming from. Right. And so the other part that's really valuable in there too, I have a friend, he just camps out in there and he calls people because he can see their activity level. So he knows they're most likely online. If they're online, they'll answer if they're available.
But not always.
Yeah, not always. I know. But I'm just saying in general, it worked for him because he was able to have conversations with mostly he was calling people he knew. Okay, here we go. So let me just give a demonstration.
Yes.
Terrible slide. Ready? So somebody was presenting PowerPoint karaoke and they got this slide deck and they read this slide exactly like this. And let's see, more presentation tips. Talk to your audience, not the slides, face them. And this is the best part. I'm turned away right now. Don't just read what's on the board. We can read that. Use a visual presentation as a starting point. So the person was actually reading what was on the freaking slide when it was telling them not to read the freaking slide.
I love it. And games like that we, someone has the guts to be the one that is vulnerable first and messes up first, just breaks the ice for everybody. We need to have icebreakers in order for the people to lower their walls, because as humans, we are putting up all these walls. Social media wants us to be perfect, blah, blah, blah. And if we're working with transformational events, this is a must.
What are some of your favorite openers? Like, one or two of your favorite openers. Would love to hear.
Openers for the events?
Mm-hmm.
I like to blast on music.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah,
very simple. like to keep it simple, because a lot of my clients are like, I'm not techie savvy or whatever. Let's just build a playlist and let's do a dancing contest, or let's do something more relaxing like meditating or yoga. Like I like to start and like set the vibe.
Yes.
Let's bring the coffee right now. Right now we're going to have breakfast together, like make them sure to bring the food. Let's all eat together. Like create the experience from the beginning. So the vibe. So some like to start with the workout, others with breathing and eating, you know.
Yeah.
Depends on the client and their audience.
This gets my new belief that I really have adopted at the end of 2022. The first 5 minutes of a virtual meeting are the most important. Right? Because it does exactly what you said. Sets the vibe.
That's the vibe.
And it might be high energy. It might be more centering, right? It could be all those. It just depends on the goal of your meeting. And so I think those first 5 minutes are really important. So now I really want to talk about design experiences, since I know you're passionate around experiences. One of my inspirations was a book called The Experience Economy. And I actually got to meet one of the authors. If that's a workshop I was going to binge, I would binge one of their workshops, because they actually do present a couple times a year. I'm curious, what's your inspiration for event experiences, and what's kind of like your personal methodology of creating that experience?
That's a great question. So during the lockdowns, I birthed my own formula, because I was trying to figure out how can I fix all this boring ass events, and how can I help my clients create this experience that make people feel emotions, good emotions. And I realized that, you know, humans, we have the human design signs, you know, the normal ones, the Chinese ones, the Mayan ones, like personalities, 16 personalities. And I'm like, everybody's teaching something like that. And I'm like, no, the only way we can connect with everybody without having to deal with all that stuff is with the 5 senses. So I use the 5 senses to ask questions during the planning. So we start setting the stage with the senses. And then once we have those questions answered, we go into the 5 event languages. And one of those languages is fun.
Yeah, I like this language already.
Exactly. So the event languages are based on the love languages, with a combination of, you know, my own experience, and how one of my core values of my company is like, if we're not having fun, we're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right, because events shouldn't be stressful. Events shouldn't be overwhelming. Events should be exciting and fun.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've taught people, is that the only difference between panic and excitement is how you're breathing.
Oh, yeah.
Because all of them are all the same. Like, you know, because you were saying, like, I don't know if we want the anxiety. Sometimes the anxiety is that meeting planners feed off of that in a good way, because it's energy.
I love it.
But the difference is, anxiety is when you're not processing it well, and excitement is when you are processing it well, you're anticipating it, or you're, you know, waiting to see what happens next. And
exactly.
Really a key aspect inside of that experience.
Exactly. So when we're planning, that's why I make sure that my clients, we go through this universal ways to connect with others. And the deeper the topic, the deeper we have to pull on those heartstrings. So we have to ask ourselves questions during the planning stage, so that we don't drop the ball at the end, because sometimes we feel that entertainment and connection and the experience is secondary. We think that the content, a lot of hosts think that their speech and their content is what. I'm sorry. I don't want to make fun of people. It's just like, people, ask yourself, ask everybody, why do you go to events? They go to meet other people. They don't go for your content. The content is what brings them together, but they want to meet people that think like them, that act like them, that want to grow like them. So when we plan the event based on that, and then the experience also, we expand it to the speakers, to our sponsors, to our staff, the energy changes. And that's, that's what I created to help my clients create this experience. And it goes beyond the events. It also trickles into their normal business because events are part of the marketing strategy. They're part of the vehicle. And depending on what stage we're at, we use that event. So I like to connect bridges, right? Like if the summit is helping you sell your program and your program has a retreat that will be deeper and higher ticket, right? The experience has to be like, it has to flow.
It has to flow and inspire the right set of people to move on with that. Speaking of the right people, Scott, let's see, what is it? Scott Siddell is watching on Facebook Live. Hey, Scott, what's going on? If you have a question, make sure and hit it on the chat. We'll make sure and get it here to Anna. I love that you're working with that. Let's go through the obviously the auditory and the visual is like a no-brainer. I'm curious, have you involved the other senses in a virtual event, such as smell or other things? So while you think of that answer,
Oh yeah, I have it here in my planner.
Oh, see, we were talking about making scratch and sniff specifically for an event and then telling people when to scratch that. We've done it with candy. So we've done taste. So I think that's another cool place where if you're shipping an item, if you ship a box as part of a piece, you can really create an experience. And so I don't know if you met my other friend Jimbo too. He's been talking about something called phygital. So phygital is the combination of physical objects and digital delivery. And so that, that there is a powerful piece of sending something. So like, again, Blue and Berry always send a box. When you use that box and you use it inside of your event, I think that's another way to create an experience here on virtual. So again, I would love to hear, what are some of the ways that you've involved senses in your virtual events?
Okay. So the obvious is this, right? Sending people stuff. And that also covers the event language of gifts. People love to receive stuff. And also send your speakers the swag box you send your attendees. Trust me on that one. And also send them a gift personalized for them.
Well, let me just help you out with that. Speakers, if they love the gift, will hold up all your stuff on stage, right? And that's like...
Yeah, and they're going to be so excited.
Yeah, right. And then the speakers go like, why don't anybody else send me a box, right? Because they go to speak at all these other conferences. They love your conference even more. All right.
Exactly. So with the 5 senses, right, we can send food, we can send snacks. We can also not necessarily have to send them in the box. We can send gift cards and people can receive food. I'm a foodie and I know, and I love, that's why I travel, for food and for the landscapes and the pictures. But when it comes to having your audience fed, you're playing with the senses, the touch, the smell, the taste, the sight, and also the hearing when they're unwrapping it or when they're like all the senses, right? Play into that. You can send gift cards, digital gift cards, right? And people can buy through Uber Eats. Uber Eats is here in El Salvador too. Okay. Don't use DoorDash. That's very US centric. You're trying to build a global event. Virtual allows you to do that. Do not be myopic when it comes to your site. Because this is that comes into the senses and the planning, right? What is your audience going to see? They're going to see your marketing. They're going to see you. They're going to see your words. They're going to see your actions. And then when it comes to smell and taste and touch, if you can't send anything, if you have zero budget, ask people to grab things from their house.
Yeah. That's like the scavenger.
So simple. Like the scavenger hunt, right? Like now it's time for everybody to go grab a beverage. The first people that come here and ring this bell, right, will get a prize or whatever. Like make it something exciting. And people are going to touch. And I heard the psychological trick where you have people get things that are warm and then they're going to think that you're warm.
Oh, interesting. Oh.
So I know my nerds are gonna love that because I love psychology. So do that, right? Use things that you have at home. Do show and tell. So that
What's
they
funny
can.
with
uh,
that, the top marketers use this, Anna. And the reason why is that one of my National Speaker Association guests just came. He was on the marketing team of Coors Light remember when the can turned blue when it was cold?
yes, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
that was him and his team. And all they said they were adding to the brand at that time. The beer didn't change at all. The product wasn't getting better, but they changed the perception of the product by saying like this is the optimal temperature to serve this product, and the can gives you a feedback piece. And so that things like that, that blue label, every event can have that whatever that thing is, and it doesn't have to cost anything, right?
You can get a sponsor to pay for it, guys. You get
Yeah,
creative. Have a sponsor, do a deal with a sponsor. So with merchandise, it's really easy because you just tell them we'll put both logos, yours and mine. Yours could be a little bit bigger than mine if you want. Like be agreeable with your first sponsors if you're not used to that. People will have businesses have budgets.
yes.
Think about it like that. They have budgets. So use that to have them on your event because they wouldn't have your audience unless you allow them to tap into it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how we incorporate the senses, right? And then the languages. Like if you go to my link, irresistiblemarketinglab.com, I have this checklist with the formula and I have the questions. So I can read a little bit about the questions, like event language quality time. It's like spend quality time with the audience. We were talking about this at the beginning, right? Create the experience before the event. Hang out, do a networking party, do a costume party before the event, during the event. Everything that you do in person, you could do it virtually.
One of my new beliefs too, when people ask me about how I design my online programs, and now I'm to the stage, I literally allocate half of the time in a 60-minute program for the audience to talk. That's the hangout, right? I'll present some stuff, but that means, and I already start with present less, because in the end, people actually, like, my stuff is not that important. But if they talk about the examples of my stuff that make sense to them and their content, it means everything. And more likely, they're going to hear the right answer or tip from somebody else that's like them that gained success and then shared it with somebody else. And so I allocate over half of that time to let other people talk in the program.
Yeah, because like everybody goes to events to meet people. It's not about the content. It's not about to meet people and have an experience. Those are the two biggest reasons. To come and say to their family members, oh my gosh, or to their social circles, I was just in this event and blah, blah, blah. I walked on fire,
Yeah. Well, so this is a great example that I would love to hear, what has to happen for you in a virtual meeting. So I already know some of the items, but let's see if you can talk about one that maybe a secret one you haven't told me about. What has to happen for a virtual meeting to be engaging? And if you have an example from either your program or somebody else's program in the past 2 years.
Well, for me, for it to be engaging is I had to be part of the conversation. I had to be part of it. Like they had to take me through the journey. And this is why it's in my program, why I teach all this senses and all this, how to connect with people, because connection and communication, when the customer service is communicating with me, when I have a space where I can hang out with others, when the event is, like fun and I'm learning. I'm also I'm like a nerd. I do like to learn. I like the content. I don't want to go to an event that's all fluff.
You remind me though, it's something like GameCon conference we were talking about a little bit earlier just said that they create journey maps, and journey maps are like, right, like that's Barry and Blue do the same thing. You start here, you go through the program, you go through the material, and so while the stuff is happening, you are being taken on a pretty intentional journey. And I actually think I hadn't thought about that, but I'm going to apply that to my next conference, because we have done that at like one time. There were 7 of us who were speakers in a program, and I had the foresight to just say, hey, could the 7 of us meet? And why the reason for that was I wanted our 7 stuff to somewhat connect together instead
Yeah.
of to be seven
Yeah.
separate, totally distinct
Yes.
parts.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Because that's the biggest problem that's going on right now with summits. I do not recommend 40 speaker summits anymore. It's overwhelming. It's exhausting. Nobody wants to go 40 different ways. Do one thing. Go, okay, so you're going to talk about Instagram, then just go all full Instagram. Niche down as much as you can, because like what you do, present less and let them network more. But while you're presenting, you're actually helping them take action. And then you send them to take action. Getting things done is my thing. Like I help you create a program, not a program, the event program, so that it makes sense. Like you said, like a roadmap, like a game. Duolingo just did that to me. I'm learning Italian in this app called Duolingo.
Yeah, I know Duolingo. Yeah.
Yeah, no, big deal. I'm just learning Italian. And they did something to the app a couple of days ago that wants me to play more. Like I want to do more lessons because they just changed the format of it.
What's the change? Give me an example if I know what it is.
I'm gonna show you. So I'm just gonna show you guys. So this is the app.
Oh,
and what is they did a journey.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's a large
prizes.
Yes. Yes. That's a great piece. You know, I have as part of my this year's conference that was in October, we created something called Engaging Virtual Meetings Academy, and it has the ability to create a journey. And that's actually I need to think about learning like that, because in the end, right now I'm trying to create a course that goes and says, this is a journey for you, like to a path that you can take. Like if you want a more engaging virtual meeting, here's what you need to do. And so like it would teach you the 5 or 6 things and that are immediately actionable. And I think that's really the other key is I really believe in the niche down. By the way, one of the best tips that I think I got, which I really feel like I resonated with, I'm gonna follow. And somebody said, I said, what could you do to be more engaging? And he said, double your speaker time. Right? Instead of giving speakers an hour, give them 2. And I said, what happened? He goes, they got to go deeper in the topic. So exactly what you're talking about, like this niche down, they, instead of saying wide, right? They went deeper and people stayed on. It was a 2-hour meeting, but most people stayed on for 2.5 to stay and ask questions beyond the schedule too. And that to me says engagement. And I said, I think I'm going to have less speakers and deeper speakers
conversations
in 2023. And I think actually that's a trend in 2023. All of us want to go deeper, whether it's deeper emotionally or physically or educationally. I think there's a real trend around there because now people are finally ready. You know, in 2020 was like, holy cow, I just got to get on.
Yeah.
But 2020
they just scrambled and now we're ready to like go. And that's what's going to happen. Those who keep the same trend, like don't change. In 2022, your events are not you're not going to get the butts and seats. I always talk about getting more butts and seats, and that's not going to get you butts and seats.
Yeah. You got to innovate. You got to
niche down and innovate. Exactly. It's like people are so tired of fluff. Stop being so fluffy. They've been scammed. People have been backstabbed. They have gone through really bad stuff in 2020, 2021, 2022. Before that, like we gotta see how the market is reacting, right?
Yeah,
and give them what they need.
Well, part of that is anticipate, and then to be a leader is to spot a trend and put it out there before other people really figured it out, like the rest of the world figured it out. Olivia, by the way, is watching. Hi, Olivia. She's one of our good karaoke friends. She goes, I'm living for these interviews. They feel like free micro bite classes for Zoom etiquette and other Zoom concepts. I'm like, oh, yeah. So Olivia's in the Bay Area. Anna, let me just ask this. Is now that you've had this part and you're a self-admitted tech nerd, I'm sure you've thought about the future. Yeah. What's like some of your wish, or what do you think we're going to see in the next 5 and 10 years in virtual meetings?
Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you right off the bat that virtual reality makes me nauseous.
That's a great admission. I can admit that
Nauseous.
all
At
the motion
50
ones.
minutes.
Yeah.
That's all I can handle. So hear me out, people.
Okay.
Yes, events have innovated, but the innovation happened so fast, and now things are settling down. A lot of people want to go back to bad habits. You're gonna want to go back to your trauma. Look at John, exactly. Like, the filters are great. What I can't stand is like having the VR and like going into the virtual reality.
Yeah, no, when you try and when you move and your body doesn't move, that actually makes me sick. I know exactly what you're talking about. So
yeah, so I don't think our generation is going to be able to handle that. Like, let's be honest. I'm sorry, it's the truth. I also heard in the grapevine, there's this event planner that only does VR.
Wow.
And she's like, we had this meeting, and then some people were stuck in a tree.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so you motion, basically you can pull triggers or other things and move around, and the world doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work the way we're supposed to. So there's still bugs in it, and in this case, some like a whole group walked into a tree and then maybe couldn't walk out of it.
So innovation, that being said,
yes.
Innovation, the technology is going really fast, but here's the deal. The adaptation process of everybody is not as fast. I am Speedy Gonzalez. I like to run. I like to get things done fast. The faster and easier, the better.
Yep.
But not everybody likes this new adaptation. They actually feel relieved that they could go back to in person, for example. They can go back to their comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Who likes change, right?
Exactly. Who likes change?
Except for us people.
The first 5 years, I think it's going to be like, the adaptation process, people realizing, hey, virtual is going to get me more butts and seats because it's global than in person. I'm just saying. And we can make more money online. Yes. But, they're going to find out some already figured that out. Some are going to find out. And then we're going to start easing into virtual reality for sure. Like, I would love to do some virtual reality in the future, 100%. But am I going to be able to handle it? Who knows? I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle the nausea. And if I can't handle it, my audience, I don't know.
But I think you're with me with this, right? You'd see a future where when the technology advances, right? Because like the headsets right now were like, think about where your computer was 20 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
It was big, it was clunky, it was expensive, right? It was not small. It was not your phone, maybe even at that time. There's so many advances that we made even in that period of time that VR is going to be there too. So like the experience, one day, my wish for the future is like one day it's like the holodeck. Right, which is like you feel like you're living in it, and it maybe
basically living a Sims.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what it's going to work because we got to figure out something that works for us as humans, right?
I think we're going to understand more our way of real life in the simulation more. In the simulation, yeah. Because there's going to be innovation, but like, it's not, you said 20 years for the computer or something like that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there'll be some innovation or something around there. That'll be interesting to see. And then of course, what's really funny is the surprise. Like maybe the surprise is like the intersection between the two, right? Or like you're at a live event, but there's some version of technology, like digital mapping on buildings, when they take a building.
Oh, yes, 100%. I was going to tell you something. If you're doing in-person and hybrid, you cannot forget virtual.
No.
Like you have to use the tools. Like the chatbot works for an in-person event 100%. You know how? You know how they send you to lunch and then they don't tell you what time you have to come back?
Yes. Yeah, message everybody, right?
Send them all a message. Send them, there's this woman, I met this amazing woman that created this app for in-person events, for weddings specifically, but we're going to disrupt it and like use it for everything, where you get a map of the place that it's going to be at.
Okay.
So you can recommend the best restaurants so people don't have to waste their time eating
Oh,
bad food.
yeah.
Or
You can
here's,
provide
you
it.
know, if you
Yeah.
have an emergency, if you need help from the consulate, if you know, like create the virtual experience in the in-person event.
Yes. And people were doing that before, but now I think because of the virtual experience, people are so used to chat and all these other things that you should be in the audience, but on the chat line for this conference. That's what
As well.
that's what Twitter used to be, at least for me. I only used to tweet at Twitter,
Yes. We used
you
to
know?
tweet live what was
Yeah.
happening and what, oh, yes, I missed that.
It's too much. I know we don't have enough time for that. Okay, so the time we do have is for exactly this, Anna. If people only remember one thing from this interview, what's the one thing you want them to remember?
There are people seeking you, so you better go share your message and host your own events and stop waiting for other people's stages.
Exactly.
Like, do it yourself and create an experience that you have dreamed of yourself. Like, whatever, as an attendee, you felt like this was a great experience. Like, do a Frankenstein of all the best experience you've ever had and try to put it together and fail. Try to do it and do the event and then do it again.
Franken conference. I love it, Anna.
Ranking conference
Yeah,
of
no,
experience.
you're planning your own summit in 2023. Where can we find info as you start to release it, Anna?
On my Instagram, you can follow me as Irresistible Latina. I'm gonna be announcing all the info there. I hang out there and I hang out on Clubhouse as well. You can find me as Andrea on Clubhouse. I host a room every week
Oh,
under the Women's Wisdom Club.
oh,
Yeah, on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. So starting January 3, I'm gonna be there hanging out.
can guy allies show up occasionally?
Yes, but I cannot bring you on stage.
That's what they want in your roles. Good for you. You know, I want you to actually go check out this other website. Innovationwomen.com is really dedicated towards finding women more speaking gigs. And it's
Oh,
run
I love that.
Bobby Carlton, and I think it's a really valuable resource. Check it out because we'd love to see you more on stage. Anna, thank you so much. Love your energy, passion, your geekdom, and everything else. I'm going to use some of these ideas. When you see a chatbot, I want to tell you it's your fault, okay?
No, you hire me so I can help you get it done.
Well,
Don't waste your time.
if you want to collab on my next conference and share a little of your experience information,
I would
that
love
would be an awesome place to collab, okay?
I would absolutely love to share how you can build one for your event.
Oh,
Absolutely.
love it. We meet every 2 weeks. I'll tell you more in a little bit. All right. Anna,
right.
thank you so much. Happy holidays, and we hope to see you soon, okay?
You too. Bye.
Cheers. All right. Hey, I'm John Chen. I'm here. Amazing interview with Anna. I love we're talking with Salvadorian. It's just, and somebody who's so passionate around experiences and especially around transformational experiences as part of events. So make sure and check her out. I put the link inside here on side of all the live streams. Happy holiday season. I hope you enjoyed this 2022 twofer, which is 2 interviews in 1 day. I'm John Chen, author of Engaging Virtual Meetings, and we'll see you next time.